Okay. All right, everybody. How are you doing today? Another live, yeah. And I have to say, I'm getting used to it. For those of you who are on my earlier lives, it was a little bit like, so for those of you who can see me and you can hear me loud and clear, give me a quick shout out. Send me a thumbs up, give it a like, give it a love, give it a care button, yeah. Um, looks like I'm getting used to doing some of these lives, guys. So if those of you who are hearing us out there, how's it going? Jean, awesome, thank you for joining us. Esther, back to work. Okay, so for those of you who are logging in, thank you. Always good to see you, full of energy here. Emma, hey, nice to see you. That's twice this week already, eh? Awesome. Cannot see me, eh? I'm right here. Everybody can see me. Vimy Lau. Awesome. Let's see if we have anybody from, so far we've got people from KL. Yeah, give me a shout out. If you're from Penang, give me a quick shout out as well. And if anybody, I think I saw some people that are logging in from Myanmar. I don't know if my buddies from Myanmar, Phnom Penh, are going to be logging on. Sotosiang, awesome. Good morning to you. Awesome. Love it. Angela, woohoo! Okay, so it's fantastic to have you guys. If anything, I'm getting used to doing some of these lives, and I know some coaches that are on this call as well. I've seen some of your lives, and I think you guys look really nice and comfortable. How you doing, Visaka? Nice to see you too. Okay, so as we roll right in today, we have an amazing topic. But I want to ask some of you this, over the time that we've been working from home, okay? How many of you have been still very comfortable working from home and working with your teams? If you have teams in place as well, for how many of you was it a little bit of a struggle at the beginning? Yeah. And it's a bit of a struggle because, and I'll say the same thing has been happening to us as well as a team, and it was really nice because when we started having our team meetings as a company, the Spark Group Asia, we run a lot of events, we run a lot of webinars as well. We roll out a lot of different programs, and what we found is that at the beginning it was really difficult. It was difficult to work, guys. And how many of you face that? Like, oh, I'm not used to going onto Zoom. Oh, I'm not used to, seeing people online. Oh, I don't know how to log on. I don't know what to click. Something's wrong with my computer. So a lot of people were not used to the tech stuff, But soon enough, a lot of people started getting comfortable. So let me see a show of hands. How many of you are starting to get comfortable with doing this whole online thing, getting online, getting on Zoom? If you are, give me a quick thumbs up. Let me know if you're getting comfortable with this. This is you getting into a new norm. A new norm. This is the new comfort zone. And if you are, good for you. And for those of you who have challenges, if you have challenges, let me know as well. If you have challenges, give me an exclamation point. Okay, an exclamation point. Now, why I say that is because I want to take a poll. For how many of us find it comfortable, and how many of us find it it's still difficult, still a bit challenging. Yeah. Thank you so much, Lenny. Oh, Wira Tan. Are you from Indonesia? Are you from Jakarta? Lenny, fantastic. Angela opens up another door. Now, why I'm asking this is this, because today's topic, we're going to talk about communication. We are talking about communication, and for how many of you the communication has gotten a little bit different? I'm so used to coming in the office and seeing my employees, and then I talk to you face to face. But now as I come online, one person said this to me before. So when I come online, I can't have those casual talks with my employees anymore, like, oh, I go to their table, their workspace, and I chit chat with them. Gone are those days that I can do that. And when we come online, there needs to be an objective, there needs to be an intention. Absolutely. Yes, it was a struggle initially. Thank you, Emma. Don't even know how to log in for Zoom. Totally, absolutely. Yeah. Hi, Elin. Nice to have you as well. So, for how many of us, communication is now, and this is the thing, and that's why we brought up this topic on how to get your employees to speak up, because when we were in the office and working together with that kind of rapport, that kind of bond, some business owners and some leaders would also find that challenging. So let me just get my screen up here, gang, and so I can show you a few things. All right, and pop. All right. So okay, you can see my, oh dear. Okay, let me just make sure this looks good. All right. Okay. So a lot of people, even in the setting of being in the same space as our employees, we were having challenges getting them to speak up. Now, imagine if you're doing this online now. We're doing this on Zoom. We're doing it through a screen now. And when we're doing it through a screen, how many of you also feel that there are challenges with really feeling someone's energy? So if somebody is a little bit introverted, somebody is a little bit now introverted, I would say they have a little bit less energy. They're not so expressive. It kind of dampens the conversation a lot because we're not in the same space kinesthetically with the person anymore. So it doesn't matter whether you're talking to your employees, it doesn't matter whether you're talking to a partner or a customer, but when you're just listening, now take my energy for a bit. If I'm just listening and I'm not moving, or I'm not saying very much, I don't move my hands around a lot, you can start to feel that there's a little bit of that disconnect. And also because we're doing it through a screen. So sometimes if you want people to understand your energy, to feel your energy, to hear you, and I like what Esther talked about, sometimes you can feel that energy. Be aware that when there's a screen, you want to be able to push that through even more. You might want to be more expressive. You might want to be able to push that energy into the screen versus be a little bit more subdued with your expressions. Is that making sense? Which is also why we brought up this really powerful topic on how to get your employees to speak up, because we're no longer in a nice little space where, we can just pop in, and then it's casual, and then I can feel that friendship, that bond. Now I got to come online, and so it's very intentional, it's very purported. So how do I get my employees to speak up? Okay, so there are a lot of amazing stuff. That's right. Having online meetings sometimes will pull our energy. Totally, totally, totally. All right. So you can feel a lot of that as well. All right. Melissa, good morning to you. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So guys, let's dive right in a little bit. Okay. So as you guys are getting ready, gang, I hope you have your notebooks. I hope you have your pens and paper. If you're old school, I'm a little bit old school, so I've got my pens and paper over here. I tend to take notes, writing it down still. I don't know about you, if you guys still do that. But if I may, let's talk a little bit about the challenges. Okay, let's talk about the challenges. Let's talk about okay, Marissa. So what if I tell my employees a lot, so what if they don't speak up so much, so what are the challenges? So how many of you here have full-time employees? Yeah, if you have a full-time employee, just give me a quick exclamation point if you have, or you have people that are extended team, they are freelancers for you, they're extended, or they're sales agents, they're affiliates. That's also fine. All right, but if you have full-time employees, give me an exclamation point so that I can understand where you guys are at. But if I may, this applies across the same just across. Now, what are the challenges that we face if our employees don't speak up? So let me jump right into here. One of the key challenges that we will face, everybody, yeah, is once when we are telling a lot, okay, instead of our employees speaking up. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Angela. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Esther. Exclamation point. Very good. Full timer, part timers. Very good. And guys, these days we don't just have full-time employees, but I consider them all team members. The word team, TEAM, together everyone achieves more. It's full-time employees, freelance, extended team members, all one in the same. All right, so thank you so much, Eric. Thank you, Esther. Thank you so much. Now, the challenge with telling a lot instead of getting our employees to speak up. All right, thank you, Lenny. Okay, the challenge is that we're using our resources instead of the employees' resources. All right. So when we are talking a lot, we're speaking a lot without getting the employees to speak up. It is us using our own processor. I call it our own processor, our own CPU. All right. So whether it's a Pentium or a whatever, we're using our own CPU. And rest assured, rest assured, a lot of business owners, if I may think that, yeah, actually my CPU is quite advanced, compared to my employees. Yeah. And some of us do think that. That's okay. If you think that, okay, now fair enough, you could have a more advanced processor by way of, as a business owner or a leader, you've been in the industry a lot more. You're more experienced. You've come across a lot more. However, that situation of not engaging or tapping into your employees' resources, if you don't tap into that, number one, you will never know what they know. Okay. And at times, depending on where you are in the business, depending on where you are in the business, if you are still managing a small team, it's doable that you have a lot of experience in many areas of the business. Does that make sense? But on this call, I'm gonna go wide, because there are some of you that run small, medium-sized businesses, and some of you that run departments, and in your companies you have about 100, 200, 500 employees, and you run a department. Now, if I may, if your teams are small, you can still kind of have a general understanding of what everybody needs to do. But if you're getting to a point where you're higher level, yeah, let me use my hands, you're a C-level suite, you're kind of up there and you're running the team, yeah, on the ground, there will come a time when actually your employees do have more knowledge what's happening on the ground, what's executable, what's feasible, more so than the leaders. So, and if we don't tap into that, we will lose out on the execution tactical strategies. So, if I may, asking your employees tapping into that will allow you to use their resources. And this is one very, very important thing, if I may. Okay. And this is part of the skill of coaching. That's why we talk about the skill of coaching. And if you've worked with coaches before, coaches don't tell a lot. All right. Because in the world there are plenty of ways to get information. The challenge is a lot of the information doesn't come from ourselves, so the coaches tend to ask more questions. And if I may, the coaching skill, yeah, that we want to encourage a lot of leaders to have is to ask questions. And in asking questions, we work on one basic premise. Ladies and gentlemen, we work on one basic premise. That is, the person that you're asking questions to, which is your employee, he or she has the resources to solve their own problems. We that is our very important premise, that employees actually do know what they need to do. They do have the answers. They do know what is next. All right. So this is very important, because using their resources, okay, instead of ours. Because if we're using our resources a lot, the next problem will come again. The next problem also is that the businesses cannot run without us, and that's pretty nice at the beginning. Now, ladies and gentlemen, people that are on this live, that's pretty nice at the beginning. And I want to say one thing, that was also a nice feeling for me when I started my business. I mean, I was a coach, I was the speaker, I was the I go online, I do all kinds of, I'm the keynote speaker, I'm the trainer, I'm the coach, I'm the everything. So it's actually very, very nice. It's a nice feeling to be needed. It's a very nice feeling to say, oh, my company cannot run without me. And at some point, because I was so proud of that, I said, oh, I got to go to work, oh, my team cannot work without me. And then at some point I got, oh my gosh, it's exhausting. Now, how many of you sometimes get to that little bit of exhaustion where if I don't get involved, these guys can't get that done? Now, if you actually feel that way, boom. And that is why it's also very important that your employees know how to speak up, because as they know how to speak up, they know how to speak up to customers, they know how to speak up to colleagues, they know how to speak up to heads of departments, they know how to speak up to stakeholders, suppliers, they know how to speak up. And that is very, very important, because that will also enable us to have to be we are able to let go the daily operation. So businesses can start running without the leaders and the CEOs. And this is very important, because sometimes, most of the time, we get in the way. And I'll say this from own practical experience. Sometimes we get in the way. We know the we know the knowledge. Okay, we know the knowledge of getting out of the way. That means we know it, yeah, or intellectually it makes sense. Yes, get out of the way so your employees can do it. It makes sense, but our actions are sometimes not aligned to get out of the way. So this is very, very important as we run businesses, and we need to step back, because when we step back as leaders, we have a whole lot more time to do a whole bunch of other things that are high dollar value. And I just had this conversation with a powerful, amazing woman CEO. She's amazing, and she's running a business that's made it's been very, very successful. She runs 5 outlets. I cannot imagine how she runs 5 different outlets, 5 different kiosks for her business. But but she's so busy. And part of the conversation is what I'm sharing with you now, being able to step back. And when I ask her one simple question, are your team members able to handle the things on a daily basis? Do they know how to handle customer inquiries? Do they know how to write those emails? Do they know how to do all that? The answer that she gave me was, actually, Marissa, yes. So I said, so why are you doing it? What's important that you need to do it? And then she went, she had this aha moment. So, if I may, it's also a stacking up of being clear with what you consider as high dollar value and low dollar value activities. And for us as business owners, yeah, we do have a very limited amount of time. So we need to select clearly what activities we do want to get involved in. So running the business, stepping back from the daily operations is very, very important. How's it going, Liang? Tianlong, nice to have you. Good morning to you too. Wow, nice, awesome bunch. Okay. And then the third challenge that we have, ladies and gentlemen, the third challenge that we also have is that, if our employees don't speak up, hey, we don't know how to promote them. We don't know. Now, you see, when I say promoting, it's not about promoting monetary. Promoting always begins with scope of work. If I don't hear from my employees, how do I know what they can and cannot do? This is very, very important. So when we hear from them often, especially for some of you that are on this call, and some of you are growing teams, yeah, you're growing teams. And we like to hire, and John Maxwell talks about this as well. I quote a lot of John's stuff, John Maxwell stuff. But you can either hire people from the outside, or you develop from within. Yeah, so he has a term for it, hire people on the farm, grow people on the farm. But it's either you hire people from outside, or you grow them from within. But if you want to grow them from within, it is very important as leaders that we hear from them as well, so that we know how to progress them. We know what they know. We also know what they don't know. If we're busy telling, the information that goes to the employee comes at this level. We're busy telling. We will never be able to see the gap of how much they know or don't know. So this is a very, very important part of growing people, because only when we can see that gap can we coach, can we lead, can we guide, can we mentor. Yeah, so that's very, very crucial in hearing from employees. Thank you so much, Jean. Yeah, teaching employees to speak up is always a needed culture, where we are taught not to speak up unless it's the last option. Thank you so much, Jean. That's actually amazing. I mean, I thank you so much. I don't really want to say that this is about. I don't want to talk about the education system, if I may. Because I think a lot of business owners and leaders out there, um, uh, they don't, and this could be an assumption now. And I want to say that a lot of business owners and leaders, sometimes end up telling, and perhaps, it's an easier option. It just gets the message across fast. And a lot of the time, I hear different things, feedback from the industry in so many different forms, and on why they don't. Oh yeah, I asked my employees to speak up, but they still want to keep quiet. They still want me to answer. They say, boss, you are the boss, so why don't you tell us what to do? And so a lot of bosses and business owners have come to a point where they've accepted this, almost like they've accepted it because perhaps it's the education system, perhaps it's the upbringing, but you see, accepting all this corners us into having to run the business be very involved in running the business. We are so deep into running the business because we can't get our team members to lay down their opinions, speak up on our behalf, and therefore we've got to be in there a lot. Yeah. So if I may, a lot of time, some of these beliefs. So that's why I also want to try and encourage you to open up your thoughts, open up your mind. If you could have it that your way, what kind of leader do you need to be? What kind of culture, what kind of environment do you want to set so that people speak up, people share their opinions, people are not afraid to be wrong? And that's what today this topic is all about. Yeah. So I'm going to go into it in a lot more depth. So thank you so much, Jean, for sharing this. Yeah. Oh, just a quick for those of you who are knowing me for the first time, I just want to share this is who I am. My name is Maresa. I run the Spark Group Asia, basically the founder and CEO, and also the mentor coach, where I also mentor and coach many different many coaches in the past and now. Yeah, we have an office in Kuala Lumpur, the Spark Group Asia. Some of you know some of our coaches. We also have an office in Vietnam. We also have coaches in Singapore as well. And of course, my big, hairy, audacious goal, my BHAG, is to grow as many leaders and entrepreneurs across Asia. So my big, hairy, audacious goal is in 2030. Is to touch 1 million lives. All right. So thank you for being here, because you're part of that journey where we're impacting you as a leader, whether you are running your own business, whether you're an entrepreneur, you're a head of department, you're in senior management, or you're in the C-suite of a larger corporate multinational company. Either way, we are so happy to have you on this webinar, because that you're adding to those 1 million business leaders that we are impacting today. All right. So thank you very much. This is a little bit about myself. Yeah. And a little bit of commercial, guys. Just want to spend a bit of time to share with you. We spend a lot of time, we invest plenty of time educating people. So just a short commercial. For those of you who have attended our webinars, this is a very important webinar. We actually run these webinars to help leaders to enable their skill of coaching. Yeah, and a lot of people want to lead better and manage better. And they ask, what is the key skill? And one of the key skills, as Harvard Business Review, HBR, has shared, is the skill of coaching for one of the 10 future skills that leaders will need moving into the future. And a lot of people make this mistake of thinking coaching is a professional person's job, like myself or like my coaches. Yeah, it is not. It is not something that you do as a third-party profession from the inside out. The skill of coaching is actually a skill of leadership, one of the skills, if I may, according to the Harvard Business Review. And we also do agree. So we've taken it upon ourselves at the Spark Group Asia to teach people how to coach. We've been coaching for many years, myself and my team. And so we're departing all that knowledge, guys, on the 28th of May, 5th of June, and the 12th of June. If you want more information, please go to our website, thesparkgroup.asia/events. We will share a lot of information there as well. But we're hot on our heels doing a lot of events, teaching people. All right. And for those of you who are here, a quick promotion for you also is, if you get to the end of this live sharing, the team will actually put a link out for you to key in that code leadership. All right, and you'll actually get close to 60% off on the price, limited to 10 RSVPs. All right. So we hope to see you inside our following webinar. All right. And quick commercial, gang, and let's get into it. Again, this is our link, the sparkgroup.asia/events. We update this on a weekly basis. So please go there if you want to get tons of information and live events on how to grow your business and how to lead and manage effectively. Okay. So without further ado, let's go jumping in. Okay. So the first thing in getting employees, yeah, if I may, to speak up, all right, and you want to write this down, okay, it is obvious, but a lot of people don't do it, Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is to ask. All right, asking questions. And I shared this earlier. A lot of people, thank you so much, Elin. Nice to be the part of our B hack. Good, good, good. So I'm glad that all of you are here to be part of our B hack as a team. All right. Thank you. So let's rock and roll. So why is asking questions harder than telling? You see, and a lot of us are very used to telling. Now, me included, I'll be very upfront with you. When I started running my businesses, I was doing a lot of telling and instructing, telling and instructing. Okay. Now, how many of you do that? Now, why is that easier? Is because it's a shortcut. The telling and instructing is easier because I all I gotta do is tell you what's inside my mind. Boom, it's the answer to that problem. But if I have to design that in a question, it also means that I have to listen for the answer. And for how many of you, you realize that actually listening is difficult? Listening is difficult. How many of you think that listening is a challenge? And I like to say this: we're born with one mouth and two ears. So actually, as human beings, we were designed to listen more because sometimes we not only listen to what people say, if you can listen very hard, you can also listen to what they don't say. And I'll get to the end of that because if you can listen to what they don't say, that's called body language. And sometimes messages that are really emitted and you listen to what people don't say, a very key message is in there. So if I may, asking questions is very important. And this is also important here. As business owners and as leaders, what do we tend to do? Because we know the answer. We know the answer, right? Sometimes we ask leading questions. Okay, what do leading questions sound like? Hey, the customer talked to you, like 7 days ago. Don't you think it would have been better that you communicated with them not more than 3 days after? Wouldn't it have been better if you communicate with them faster? Wouldn't it have been better if you sent out the email first so that you can get that information into the company and then we can process the document? Don't you think it would have been better? Wouldn't it have been more effective if we? So do you see how those questions are leading questions? So if I could, you want to try and avoid asking so many leading questions because there's already an expected answer. How many of you know what I'm talking about? When there's an expected answer, it becomes challenging for your team to be able to open up and share their point of view. So inside some of our programs, we do talk about the different types of questions. But instead of ask leading questions, I want you to write this down. You probably want to ask open questions. Open questions where you get to ask your employees, what do you think about this project? Who do you think we should assign this project to in terms of managing the outcomes? Where do you think are the potential issues if we launch this campaign? So you're asking open questions instead of questions that already lead them because you already have a set answer. Okay, so these are asking questions. Okay, and also, guys, on this note, because we're talking about asking questions, if you have questions, please put them inside the comment group as well. I would really love to hear from you. So please ask me questions on, some challenges that you're facing. Please put it in or even just comment. I'm really, really happy for you to do that. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So that's ask. The next one. Woo. All right. So in asking questions, yeah, and sometimes a lot of people, yeah, there are some people that I realize. Thank you so much, Jean. Questions can lead anywhere. Thank you so much. Now the thing is, before you ask leading questions, and sometimes it's important to ask leading questions because when it's open all the time, it doesn't really give you actions. It doesn't give you conclusions or decisions. All right. So, and this is what I train leaders who learn how to coach. Don't ask leading questions until you've asked enough open, exploratory questions. Questions that are open and questions that explore options. Okay. So there are sequences to those questions, but I'll keep it at this level so that it's easier for us to understand. Emma, oh yes, if I'm in the employee shoes, I will get annoyed with leading questions. Totally, don't you think? Would it have been better? Why didn't you do that? So those are leading questions, okay? Now we tend to ask a lot of that, okay? So good. Thank you so much, Emma. And this is a particular, I'll bring it to the second point where we want to ensure readiness. Now, how many of you have experienced there are some people that if you ask them a question on the spot, yeah, sometimes they cannot answer. They go into a stunned state, like, okay, that stunned state, so they go quiet. If you've ever actually experienced anybody like that, okay, we experience a lot of people like that as well. Now, when they go into the stunned state, it's not that their screen froze. Okay, it's not that their screen froze. It's because they are thinking. All right. So there are some subset of people, and it also comes down to their programs. How their brains are wired. But you have people that are and there are two types of people, and I shared it in my earlier live. If you guys were here, the knowing your leadership intelligence. Some people's leadership intelligence are designed to be a bit more optional. Optional means there are people that can think very quickly on their feet, and when you present a problem to them, boom, they come up with solutions and alternatives pretty quickly. But you also have people that are the other side of execution, they're very procedure oriented. So they're procedure oriented, the way they are wired is that there are steps and they must follow those steps. So 1, 2, 3, oh shoot, I get to the third step and I hit a snag. And what do you think? What do you think we should do? What are the next steps? And then they so they can't take. So sometimes there are people that are designed, and these are one of the examples of different mental maps. You want to also, if you want to encourage your employees to speak up, you need to also identify where they are with their intelligences. But sometimes when they are stunned, they're thinking, they're processing, it would be better to give them time to go away and think. Does that make sense? So this is very important because the second key that I'll share with you is giving employees time to prepare and time to respond. And neither do you want them to come up with an answer just like that. Oh, what do you think? Oh, okay, I think I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this, A, B, C, I'll do this. Neither do you want them to just hammer something right off the bat. But if they are people that are very procedural and they are probably more detailed, they are going to resist from response because what they want is they want to have a little bit more accuracy first. There are some people that are like that, okay? So you also want to give them some time to think because answering on a fly may not be comfortable for them. So give them time to think. This is the problem. Can I hear from you at the end of the day? Can I hear from you tomorrow at 9 o'clock? Can I hear from you? Can I give you 2 hours? Can you come back to me? This is the challenge that we have. I need to hear what the alternative solutions are. Go away and think about it. Let's come back. So that's also some very important ways. Yeah. yeah. So people do get stunned, yeah. But in my experience, when they get a bit stunned, actually they are thinking, yeah. Tengah fikir tu, okay. The third one is also very important, okay? So if you want to encourage your employees to speak up, one of the things that we have to be very aware is to create a safe space, that safe environment to talk. So, and I call that support, okay? So, and sometimes we come from an environment. Now, I don't want to blame the environment, but the environment that we come from does explain a lot of why we are the way that we are. And some of the environments that I was in my youth, and I'm not sure about some of you, some of the environments that I was in my youth is uh, um, when we go for exams, we do PMR, SPM, UPSR. Now, all these are, sorry for those of you who are international guests on our call, these are actually statutory examinations that we have to go through from when we were 7 years old right up to 18 years old, right? And then we go into college. Now, inside these exams, it is wrong or right. Does that make sense? Have you seen that? So it's either the answer is wrong or right. Now, when we are designed to think that way, a lot of people, and these are real leaders and entrepreneurs, they have come into leading their businesses or even in their careers by thinking. And I used to coach this one particular lady. She took over her father's business, and it was really strange because when I coached her and I asked a lot of questions, how do you run your team meetings, how do you create your business plan, so I asked a lot of questions. And every time I asked this question, she would ask me back, so coach, is that right or wrong? Is that right or wrong? Is that correct? Is that the correct way? Is that? And how many of you know what I'm talking about? In business, is there ever a right and wrong way? Never. So that's why there's a lot of different styles. But because of our environments, we are caught up with what is right and what is wrong. And and as leaders, and then I started to realize, hey, actually my role as a leader is to create an environment where, if there is a right and a wrong, there is going to be people that are concerned that I get the wrong answer, and then what's going to happen? I look stupid. I won't get more responsibilities. I will cost the team money. Fine. But one of the things that we want to create as leaders is a safe frame, is a safe context, a safe environment to share, because even if they get it wrong, it only means that they get something to learn. And that's one of the things that I share, is because there's no such thing as failure, because failure is merely feedback. When you make mistakes, it's only feedback. And so if I could, creating the safe space also means creating a positive body language, creating that welcoming, and when we speak as leaders, the language that we use, whether it's words or the body language, yeah. But if we are listening like this, we're not open. And when we want to encourage people to talk, the words that we use, the face that you have, so can I invite you to elaborate a little bit more on what you said about that solution, please? Can I invite you? Can I encourage you to justify what you've just said in pertaining to the budgets that we have? Can I invite you? Can I encourage you? So those words are amazing to show a lot more support and a safe environment for people to express. Okay, so this is actually very, very, very good. Poor to some of us that was brought up with that right wrong environment. Absolutely. Now, and I'll say, I'm one of those people. I had a right and wrong mentality. Oh, this is the right way to run my life. This is the wrong way to run my life. Or this is the right person to be focused on studies, and then this is the wrong person to be where I fail my exams. All right. So if you guys know a little bit about me, when I was a child, it was drilled into me that I have to ace all my exams, which means I don't play sports. I have very few friends. People that know me since I was 8 years old, none of them are on this call, so you don't have to worry. They're going to say, actually, people that have known me for a long time, they say that, hey, Maresa, you've changed a lot. And a lot of that turning point was when I started business, when I went into university, I started being in councils, and there's no right and wrong way of doing something. And that's what I learned and how I learned that. So as leaders, we are shaping that environment. Yeah, the right or wrong culture affects us from having open discussions for fear of being wrong. So, as leaders, we have to always set context that it's okay to just share, and there's no right and wrong opinion. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jean. Thank you so much, Emma, for sharing. All right. So, creating that support frame is very, very important. Sorry, I had to show this. All right. He's not very much a fan right now. But if you want to encourage your employees to speak up, it also has a lot to do with the face that they're speaking to. So, if I may, this is so funny. I had to look high and low for a face that, if you were giving that face, wow, thank you for making it so big. Goodness, the guys in the back end, thank you. I had to look for this because if you had a face where like something like, you're frowning, or you're like looking somewhere else, or you're side, those side views, those side views where you do that. If you have those kinds of if you have those kinds of faces, it becomes very difficult for your employees to speak up as well. So for what it's worth, be cautious, and I put that there, guys. Be cautious with your reaction to things that you hear. Watch how you train and please, leaders, this is where we take responsibility on our communication. Be cautious with how we train our employees to zip up. We train them. We and I can't. It's we can't say no, no, no. They came like this. No, no. So, and if I may, as leaders and business owners yourself, have you ever worked for anybody and the face they gave you, because some of us were employed before, those of you who were employees before in your life, give me a quick thumbs up if you've been an employee before. Can you please put a small e? Yeah, a small e. Just type an e in there if you have been employed before. I have to ask this, yeah, because there are some people that are in business that have never been an employee first. So for me, thank you, Angela, I was an employee first. So I was employed in the bank for a very, very long time. So give me a small e. Now, if you were ever employed before, ask yourself, have you ever been managed by a boss and he or she gave a certain reaction? Thank you so much, Sutosyang. Elin, thank you. All right. Thank you, Jean. And they give this face that you just feel, actually, you got something to say. You have something to say, but you just, I think I'm just going to keep it to myself. How many of you have ever faced that before? Stephanie, thank you. Esther, thank you. Emma, thank you. If you have ever had that, so ask yourself, what face was that you did not want to open up to? Now, and then be cautious, because if your employees are not speaking up to you, okay, communication is the response that you get. That's right. If your employees are not speaking up to you, that's the response that you're getting. And you see, no response is a response. Does that make sense? No response is a response. And then they go, but I want you to open up. I want to hear your thoughts. No, boss, I think you're right. You're right. Okay, we do it that way. Okay. Now, if I may, that response, we are responsible for setting that response. Does that make sense? And that's why we also talk a lot about, if you throw a tennis ball, I always use the example, if you throw a tennis ball on the wall, if you throw it fast, it comes back fast. There's no way you're going to throw it fast and it comes back slow. So communication is a response that you get. Does that make sense? Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Elin. Thank you, Jean. Angela, I was working with American firms in Singapore in my 20s, and it was really great experience of open communication culture. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Even worse with lady bosses. Whoops. Now, there are many different types of bosses with all the different genders, guys and girls. There's so many different types. I've worked with some of the craziest guys, male and female bosses, right? Especially in the bank, yeah, corporate banking. And you see, that kind of culture is very important. Now, if let's just say your employees say something wrong. They say something that you don't agree with. How many of you have experienced that, where they say something that you don't agree with, and you're just and your face is just scrunching up because you've got something alternative, just probably the opposite? How many of you have had that before? It's very, very important. Your first expression for when they finish talking, all right, It's not that face. That one. Not that face. The first face that you give is thank you. Thank you for sharing what you think. However, could I encourage you to also look at this other solution? Is there a possibility that we could be underestimating the budget for this campaign? Is it possible? So do you see how you invite a different alternative without saying, no, I don't think that's the right way. I think you're wrong. In fact, I think we should reduce the budget because dot, dot, dot. So you completely overlay that person with his or her opinion. So what happens in the future is if they have something alternative to say, you know what they're going to think? Zoop. So I can tell if they have something to say, their eyes get bigger. Yeah, eyes get bigger. All right. And I also love the American open communication culture. Thank you so much, Jean. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So be aware of your reaction, because your reactions, as you don't realize it, is training people around you subconsciously. And if some of you are on autopilot, be careful. You're training people subconsciously to. Is that making sense? So this is very, very important. Communication is the response that you get. All right. How many of you are having a good time now? If you're having a good time, you're getting some. How many of you are getting major insights to how you can lead and run your team? Can you please type one? Give me a quick one. Of course, one doesn't mean, oh yeah, I learned one new thing. Now, hopefully you learn more than that, guys. If you are taking away a lot, guys, at this point, give me a quick one and give me a quick heart, all right? I love engagement, if I may. The more love you give me, the more engagement you give me, the more I teach you. Although I'm going to try and keep my live to 1 hour. I'm going to get into question and answer very soon because I want to also help you to address some of your issues. Thank you so much, Elin. Thank you, guys. Now, thank you so much, Esther. Thank you, Emma, Jean. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Oh, Nick, thank you. Angela, thank you. All right, there's life out there. Adrian, thank you. Vimy. Thank you very much, guys. I love it. I love it. All right. The more engagement you give me, the more I give back. Communication is the response that you get, right? Yeah. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Nice to see you joining us on this live. Awesome. Awesome. Now, mirroring. Okay. So this is very important. And if I may, one of the things that also help employees to speak up, whether they're employees or people generally, people, and I'm just talking about people, communication between two human beings, okay, is one of the things we have to realize is people like communicating with people like them. And this is a study that was done. Now, because for some of you who are coaches and trainers, if you've done NLP before, NLP is neuro linguistic programming. I don't want to go into the details and the technicality of NLP, hey, but NLP does talk a lot about matching and mirroring. And so this study that was done on some of the top salespeople in the world, all right, their number one, what was some of the most of all the successful salespeople, why they close, why they get customers to buy, okay, and the number one reason why customers bought from these top salespeople, and when this survey went out, the number one reason was, and it's not the price was right time, I needed a product anyway, good brand. All those were number 2 and below. In fact, the price just right was number 9, all right? Super important part of this survey. So a lot of salespeople say that when they don't close the sale, a lot of people say, yeah, it's because it's expensive. No, that's reason number 9. So what's reason number 1? Reason number 1 is when customers bought is that they like their salesperson. There was an attraction. I mean, not that kind of attraction. Don't get me wrong. Okay, this is not Netflix. An attraction in terms of, I like this person. Generally, I like this person that's talking to me because And this is NLP, neuro linguistic programming. It is NLP because we like people that are like us. And when you want to encourage people to talk with you, you want to encourage people to be friendly, you want people to, you got to be able to get on their energy, get onto their same. That's what it means by getting on their wavelength, the same wavelength, by matching and mirroring them. Because people like them. Does that make sense? And sometimes when there is a little bit of that, oh, I don't get this person. I don't get her. I don't get him. Like, oh, there's something missing. There's a bit of a gap. Yeah. And sometimes it just means that this person is not like us. They probably have different styles, different behaviors, or different values. All right. So if I could matching and mirroring just to get people to like you and be more attracted to the person that you are is your being. So when you want to get people to speak up, how are you mirroring them? Mirror them, okay? Very good. There's a question from Vimy. Awesome, awesome. Love it. Thank you. Jean, I think the cat's delusional. That's why I put this photo. Because you look into the mirror and I see a lion, Actually, I'm just a cat. So that's not matching and mirroring. That's not matching and mirroring. Now, a very good example of matching and mirroring is, for example, your voice. You see, your behaviors can be matched and mirrored. For example, voice. If I'm talking to some, and for those of you who know me and have met me not in real life lah, I'm real now as well, but have met me in my seminars or have had coffee with me, and know me as a person. I am not a soft person. I do speak quite loud. And right now I'm speaking so loud that my whole house, probably my neighbors can hear me. But when I'm speaking to somebody that's softer in tone, do you know what I do is I also match that. I match that softness of the tone because I don't want to drown that person with my voice. I want to be able to match with that tone. And when I match that tone, and I speak generally quite fast, yeah, but when I hear somebody that speaks slower, I will match that energy. And that enables me to be able to get on that same frequency. Now, that same frequency is at the level of behavior. It's not at the level of values. So if you want to be the kind of leader that knows how to coach many different types of people, that flexibility is important because the person that you're with, yeah, you want to try and match that person's behavior, the person's programs, the person's voice, gestures, words. So if they use the word I see what you mean, I see, they use those words. Can you match those words? And those become a very subconscious attraction. Does that make sense, guys? So mirroring could be overconfident. Thank you. Fantastic. Yeah. So mirroring can enable that subconscious likability better, which will also encourage your employees to be more open with you when you get onto those energies as well. Okay. Very, very good. Fantastic. Okay, I'll get to that question in a bit, Vimy. Awesome, awesome. There are questions coming up. I love it. Thank you very much. All right. So moving on. Okay, just hold my. So which is also why we talk a little bit more about leadership intelligence, because you see, for what it's worth, a lot of business owners and leaders, sometimes we're very, very comfortable. Most of the time, we're very, very comfortable with who we are. And when we're very, very comfortable with who we are, we keep using that same communication. For example, I'll give you this. Sometimes we talk and we are successfully received by, let's just say, I use this way of talking with Sandra, and Sandra goes, wow, Maresa, I'm so inspired. Wow, I love this. Your message makes sense. Thank you very much. I'll go right away and get my job done. And wow. So that way of communication is very successful with Sandra. And I use the same form of communication. I go talk to Bobby. And then what happens if Bobby just goes, sorry, Maresa, I just don't get you. What are you saying? I don't get you. But I use the same thing with Sandra at work, but then how come Bob doesn't understand me, doesn't get me? So if I may, it comes down to Maresa needs to understand who she is. I need to understand what languages I have, what intelligences I have, and how I'm speaking very comfortably, probably autopilot with a person like Sandra. So then in my team, I probably have a lot of Sandras, but I don't have enough Bobbies because the Bobs maybe are people that are not like me. So how come I talk to him, he don't get me when I say all these things, but when I talk to her, she gets what I'm trying to say. So but that doesn't help. It doesn't help if I can only work with one type of person. How many of you know what I'm talking about, that in business and in life we have come across so many different types of people, and we're handicapped when we can only work with one type. Okay, employees, customers, partners, you name it. So the leadership intelligences, if I may, what you see over here from 1 to 10, it helps you to understand who you are. It helps you to understand what kinds of programs that are running for you, and some of these programs in the background, like for example, point number 4, your motivation. How are you motivated? Are you someone that's motivated by what's in front of you and where you're headed? Or are you motivated by getting away from something that is the away? Because human beings are motivated by moving toward pleasure and away from pain. So, and if I may, once you understand those motivations, you understand that part of yourself, how do you lead then? Another very important part is if I may, is I'll just go to your convincer channel. If you look at number 7, convincer channel, your VAKR, your visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and your reading. All right, we have to put reading now because a lot of people Google these days. So your convincer channels. How are your convincer channels that help you to convince yourself, that help you to consume information? When you know these things about you as a leader, you also know how you learn, how you consume information. The last one, number 10, another very powerful leadership intelligence is how are we when we're in inside stress? When we're under pressure, do we react with logic or do we react with emotion? So there's a lot of different things that we start to understand about ourselves inside a leadership intelligence a tool like this. So for those of you who are seeing this for the first time, those of you who are on this live, you've seen it before because you've taken advantage of it. We actually do the reports and the debriefs, leadership intelligence debriefs for leaders like yourself. Now, whether or not you are somebody, whether or not you are somebody that runs a business on her own, you run a team of 10, 20 people, a small, medium enterprise, and whether you are a head of department or you're a C-level leader and you run many people in your team, be it wherever you are, you need to understand your leadership intelligence, who you come off as. And so what we're giving to you guys is, for those of you who have not done it, please see if you want to take advantage of this. This is our 48-hour only special, MCO special. So the team is going to leave the link in there for you, where, ladies and gentlemen, we usually charge 1,500, 1,500 debrief and the report, which is one customized session just for you to discuss your leadership intelligence report with our certified coaches. Now, the report that you get is 26 pages. It's amazing. For me, it was amazing for me. It was mind-blowing even for me. But for those of you who are interested, please go right ahead and take advantage of this really, really low MCO special price. Okay, so click on the link, and by all means, those of you who are also interested to learn more about how to coach, about how to empower people, how to be able to motivate and influence people, my team, my business partners, and I'm building this team and I want to encourage a better culture. How do I do that? Yeah, of course, we share all of that in our top-notch webinar. It's about 1.5 to 2 hours for those of you who are interested. And again, we slash off the price only if you key in the code. So please, by all means, jump right onto that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you for your kindness. Oh my gosh, guys. Thank you very much for saying that. We're here to support as many people during MCO. It's not an easy time. So we've taken the liberty, those of you who are on this call, actually we've taken the liberty to adjust a lot of our rates. It's hard for businesses. It's hard out there. We totally understand. But a lot of leaders and entrepreneurs are also coming to us and say, but Marissa, it's such a great time to learn now. I'm not so busy. I don't have projects. A lot of people, I don't have that many projects now. So it's a great time to learn, but I'm concerned about money. And for me, I would say this is the best time to invest in yourself. And we've given a lot of very, very special cut down rates. So please take advantage of this so that you can learn now and invest in yourself now. Okay. So that's something that we're doing for you. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for recognizing that. Okay. Question and answer. All right, gang. How many of you are having a good time now? Can you give me a shout out? Say yeah. All right. If you're having a good time, say yeah. This is where I actually do that in my seminar, and people go yeah. So I miss seminars. So for those of you who miss coming to seminars, same here. I miss speaking at seminars. When we understand ourselves, then we can start to understand others. And so first start with self. Thank you so much, Jean. Let's throw up the question earlier by Vimy. Vimy, I hope you're still here with us. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right, gang. Yeah, yeah, Emma. Emma, you're so funny. Let's throw up that question. Okay. So it's on the screen. Thank you so much, team. Marissa, if there is an employee who is shy in nature and would like to start speaking up, are there any tips for them to start by feeling safe? Okay. So Vimy, if I may, if you're that leader, if you're that leader for someone shy, all right, it's very, very important that you create that safe environment first. And if I may, somebody that's shy in nature, most of the time in a group setting, they're not gonna, I got something to say. Yeah. That's maybe for someone like me. Of course, I won't do that. All right. So, but in a group setting, they will hold back a lot more. And most of the time, they will be very willing to open up in a one-to-one. Okay. So if you are leading this shy employee, you need to help her practice by doing that one-to-one first. All right. And it's very important that the leader is also very encouraging. Use language to encourage, use those reactions, be very supportive, and build that context. Now, this shy employee is also very important that everybody else in the team knows how to encourage this person to talk. So, again, how is everybody else like in the group setting? And when she opens up, and you see people that are shy in speaking up, they're not going to speak up on their own. They will speak up when invited. Yeah. And so sometimes, as the leader, you hear from all your 5 VPs, but this one's a bit quiet. So, Bob, what do you think about the budgets that we're setting and the timelines for this marketing campaign? So, Bob, what do you think? And now Bob is not going to open up right away. If Bob is shy and detailed in nature, he's gonna do that. He's gonna do the whole. So he's going to process, but you got to create that space as well for Bob to process and come up with a reply. All right. So if I may, handling shy people is actually a gradual process, but instead of just working with the person, you might also want to work with a group to know how to encourage this shy person to speak up. Does that make sense? Yeah, very, very good question. Very good. Thank you so much, Joe and Ng. Oh, very nice. Nice. Very, very nice. Thank you very much for joining us. And Vimy, I hope that made sense for you, everybody. Yeah. And if you have any questions, guys, throw it on. And if you have any questions and you want to ask me questions, guys, please write down this email. I don't think the team will post it up. It's okay, guys. Just email me directly at talk to Marissa, TALK number 2. Talk to me, sorry, TALK to me, talk to me at marissaeng.com. Yeah. And that's a direct line to me where you can ask me questions. Guys, these lives that we run are as a result of, all the questions that we've been getting from you, all the feedback that we get from you. Myself and my team of coaches, we don't want to run programs that we we short sendiri. You know what short sendiri, guys? We're like, I can talk about this. This is something that I'm good at doing. We want to be able to hear from you. So please email me your questions, TALK talk to me at maresaeng.com, one word. And I take all this as your feedback. And if we cannot run those topics, like for example, a post that I've put up on my Facebook where I asked everybody, and somebody talked about social media marketing. Although we do a lot of social media marketing ourselves, but because we're not we don't have that expertise, we actually invite people to come and talk. So because of that, we're actually inviting people to, yeah, oh, there you go, my god, so besar. Talk to me at maresaeng.com, besar. So guys, if you have any questions, this is a direct line to me, and I am listening to you because we want to be able to provide to the community in all the best ways that we can. We want to be able to bring information to you that will help you to guide you to grow your business and take it forward, because a lot of people are concerned with what's going to happen now during the what waits for us outside of MCO. Yeah, so post COVID-19, we're having conversations one to many with a lot of business owners, and it's pretty scary. I think a lot of people are scared. They're not sure what's going to happen next. So please reach out to us. Please reach out. Please join our communities, guys. Like for example, thank you for joining these lives, because these are ways that we can continue to support you and to continue creating a lot of awareness for you to learn. Yeah, over the last 1 hour. So I hope you enjoyed yourself. Yeah, write to me, gang. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Those of you who enjoyed yourself, please tag your friends. Make sure they don't lose out on this video. You can tag them now and they'll probably watch the replay, because the replay will be up on the page. Thank you, Vimy. Awesome. All the best with the business. Tag your friends. Share this live video. We'll be very happy. There are tons happening on the Spark Group Asia. If you're not already liked our fan page, we continue to put a lot of live videos up here, guys. So please go right ahead and like the page. And every time we come up with a live video, you're just going to be informed. And so we come up with more amazing stuffs like this. All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. That helps us to speak up. Absolutely. Encouraging the team to speak up and make them more confident. Thank you. Thank you so much, Karanisa. Awesome. It's a gradual process, and it's important to get people to warm up. Absolutely. It's a process of coaching and leading your team. All right, everybody. Step. I signed up for 28 May session. Woohoo! Angela. Thank you, Vimy. Thanks for your live session. Thank you so much. Emma, oh my God. Hot. Oh, I can feel your love. Love the vibes. I love it. More to come. My team and my coaches, myself, were hot on our heels, helping you guys to go much further. So here's to a great weekend for those of you who are celebrating. Selamat Hari Raya in advance. Yeah. For those of us who are celebrating the holiday, get some good rest. Enjoy. Maybe there are not as many open houses this time, but definitely we're all celebrating in spirit from our homes, nice and safe. So I wish you guys a wonderful holiday and a good break ahead, and catch you soon. Take care and bye for now.